we're now learning that the 24-year-old sugar baby of Bill Belichick was so upset by the questions, she stormed out of the interview and took Bill Belichick with her. There was a 30-minute delay. 30-minute delay in the middle of this interview session because she needed a timeout. And she took Bill Belichick with her. Now, there are some other new developments to add on to that if you've not been following. Maybe not. Our latest chatter on the Bill Belichick interview, we're hearing now the awkward situation is not going very well with the current employer of Bill Belichick. That would be a certain university that likes to wear powder blue, and they're in North Carolina. TMZ tells us the University of North Carolina, big shots at that school, are now concerned. Panic at the disco. They are worried about Jordan Hudson and her influence over Bill Belichick and his gig as a head coach at that university in Chapel Hill. Essentially, what they are concerned about here is that she has taken over a fully immersive role as his manager. There's a growing sense that this is going to become a problem. All right. No, really, Sherlock. Okay, so let us discuss the question. How do you assess Bill Belichick and his sugar baby, Jordan Hudson, the dynamic as it relates to the North Carolina football program? So I have chicken coop, David Hasselhoff, and track and field. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to put the biscuit in the basket is what we're going to do. Now, to kick off here, Bill Belichick, watching the clip again, because what else am I going to do? Bill Belichick appeared to be zombified, if you will, here. It was wild. The curmudgeon of curmudgeon football coaches. Now, some are saying this is just editing by CBS and they made Belichick look bad. Belichick wore this navy sweater, which didn't look that old, but there was like a rip in it. Kind of looked like, you know how people would buy jeans and they'll buy them with rips in them? Like he bought it and somebody, I don't know if it was her or him or somebody ripped it to make it look like it was old. It was very, very bizarre. But you look at the clip, and this is the curmudgeon of curmudgeons. And for part of it, it was classic Belichick, like he was back coaching the Patriots. He was an a-hole, a total schmuck. And then there was this other part of it was like he's being brainwashed. It's like mind control. Is he frightened? Is he being held captive by this young woman who's much, much younger than he is, 49 years his junior? Not only did he move to Chapel Hill, Bill Belichick, not only did that happen, but it looks like he has moved in, not to a mansion in Chapel Hill, he's moved into a chicken coop because he's being henpecked right now, it would appear, completely whipped. Bill Belichick, you talk about being under someone's thumb. I mean, what is going on here? Now, Fry Daddy in Pennsylvania thinks he knows exactly what's going on here. He believes that there's a certain superpower that Jordan Hudson has that she's using that Belichick has fallen victim to. But I don't know. Is she a dominatrix or something like that? I don't know. I have no idea. But Belichick calls Hudson his creative muse, which sounds like something she came up with, not him. But I digress. And looking to the future, though, and I'm never wrong about this, as a distant relative of Nostradamus and friend of Nostradamus, you look into the future, as long as the Tar Heels are winning, we're good, right? This is not an issue. If North Carolina comes out and they have a successful year, they're going to have a lot of TV games. It's deja vu, very similar to what Deion Sanders brought to Colorado. Belichick's going to bring that to North Carolina. So if you win, that is the Tom Ford cologne. That is what covers up the really foul smells from Jordan Hudson. If North Carolina is at the very bottom, down, they suck, and it's a mess, then that is where the poopy hits the fanny. And if you know what I'm saying there. And so you'll get daily updates, minute-by-minute updates on the blame and shame of North Carolina football, and passive-aggressive stories will come out about Belichick and Jordan Hudson, and there'll be guilt-tripping. Why did we do this? You know, why was she? But I don't know what she's doing. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it does. That something doesn't smell right. Something does not smell right in that. We can go on and on, but you get the point. All right, now, furthermore, we are pinwheeling our way to Austin, Texas. This is a hybrid story. It's not a college story. And it's not an NFL story. It's both college and the NFL. The focus since the 2025 draft is over, immediately the nerds have turned their attention to 2026. We're looking ahead. Who's on the big board? Who's on the big board? I believe the draft next year is in Pittsburgh. Who's on the big board? So the chatter has been for some time that will be the draft of Arch Manning. 2026 will be the year of Arch Manning. The Longhorns quarterback is expected to be at the very top, if not number one, in terms of all the quarterbacks in the draft. Or is he? We're now hearing that Arch Manning is not planning on leaving Austin, Texas in the Longhorn football program for 2 more seasons. 2 of them. Now, according to someone named Field Yates, he says that he has spoken to NFL scouts, and the expectation is that Arch Manning will stay put at the University of Texas for a couple of years. So, Arch Manning, who by most accounts would be the top quarterback in next year's draft, to dodge the NFL draft for 2 more seasons and stay quarterback of the Texas Longhorns, believe it or not. So, after a minutes-long Mallard deliberation, I am agnostic. I am not a believer on this. I do not believe. Cue the David Hasselhoff tune, Do the Limbo Dance. Do the limbo dance here. It's to be determined, right? You're doing the limbo, and listen, it is going to depend, obviously, on who gets the number 1 pick. If that is an attractive team and really city for the Manning family, the patriarch of the NFL, then Arch Manning will leave. If it is the Cleveland Browns, he ain't going. But you think about who are the worst teams in the NFL? It's usually the same teams at the very bottom, and they draft at the very top year after year. So it's not that hard to figure out who sucks. You just look at the teams that sucked last year that haven't gotten any better, and it'll be some combination of those teams that will be near the top yet again. And the usual bottom-feeding teams. Now, there has been some chatter that there'll be teams tanking if they think they can get Arch Manning, but that is to be determined also. So, now keep in mind, Arch Manning is not the son. Some people are confused. Like, is he the son of Peyton Manning or Eli Manning? No. But it doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. Because he is under the umbrella, the shield of protection from the family. The Manning family has a reputation of manipulation when it comes to the NFL draft. If you don't believe me, ask anyone that used to watch the old San Diego Chargers about how that went down back in the day. So I'm not all in on Arch Manning staying for 2 years at Texas. I think that's, even though he's making money in NIL, he's not making as much. I guess he turned down the video game cover, the college football video game cover. I saw that somewhere. So anyway, all right, the family's got a lot of money. They're all loaded. All right, they're all loaded. All right, now, last stop. We go to Cleveland, where the Browns are not only a football team, they are horrific. And we are told that after trading with the Eagles, the Browns will not be exercising the Kenny Pickett 5th-year contract option. The deadline is coming up this week. So does that make sense? The Browns went out and traded for Kenny Pickett. At this point, he's the favorite to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, but they will not be picking up his 5th-year option. Does that make sense? And the only acceptable answer, the only one, is 100%. 100%. The Browns took a flyer on Kenny Pickett. That's all. They didn't give up anything. They traded essentially some manure to get some fertilizer. They're like, let's try the fertilizer. We're done with the manure. So they sent Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR. That's DTR short for I stink. They sent him to Philadelphia for Pickett, and there was also a draft pick involved. So the 2025 season, by any reasonable measurement, is an audition. It is an opportunity for Kenny Pickett to prove that he does not play garbage all the time, that he actually there's something there. Because he's been El Stinko when he's had the opportunity to play back when he was in Pittsburgh. So Pickett will earn $2.6 million, and he's poor at $2.6 million. That's his contract, final year of his rookie contract, and that's it. And then he'll hit free agency at the end of the season in the end of 2025. So again, just to repeat here, it's kind of obvious. This becomes a track and field event for Kenny Pickett. It is a track and field event. It is the dummy run. The flag is up on the dummy run. Play well, and we can talk. There's no way you could possibly give him the fifth-year option. If the Browns gave – now, it's the Browns. I mean, they're a messy franchise. But if you gave the fifth-year option, you'd be paying a guy that's proven he can't play so far an extra year of the contract for $22.1 million. There is a better chance that Kenny Pickett ends up being released by week 10 than he ends up starting every game and leading the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs. There's a much better chance. Or even just starting every game.